welcome to the crypto.news show with myself, your host, Dorian Vitalik, and my co-host,
Tony Noto.
And our guest, Vlad Martynov, founder of BR Capital, blockchain entrepreneur, and OG friend of our Ethereum overlord, Vitalik Buterin. Welcome, Vlad.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the show. A lot to talk about. Post-election, Ethereum, venture capital in the crypto space. Vlad, welcome to the show. Perhaps let's start by giving us a little bit of an introduction into yourself.
Thank you. Well, I'm high-tech entrepreneur. My first startup I co-founded with Dmitry and Maya Buterins back in late 90s, and it was we were selling ERP system, quite innovative one at this time. And after we built and sold our business, and by the way, we sold it to Microsoft, we start looking for the new ventures, and that was early days of cloud technology, and we decided to develop one of the first SaaS-based CRM membership management system solution for non-profit organizations, which also was by itself quite successful project. And eventually we became very close friends and spent a lot of time together with our families, kids, when actually Vitalik was very young and a young boy. And Dmitry, he was always a kind of technology visionary, tech visionary, and early adopter of disruptive technologies. And, he had a kind of talent to identify these technologies at early stages, and when these technologies start emerging. And he was the first one who told me about Bitcoin. It was like a long time ago, like probably around 2012 or so. He introduced me to Bitcoin, explained about the whole innovation behind it. And then in 2014, he told me that Vitalik, his son, is working on a platform which would significantly expand the user cases which would be available to run in a decentralized environment, in a peer-to-peer environment. And at this point, I just realized the power of this technology, and I was truly amazed by this, and start learning more and studying this field in details. And eventually, when Vitalik launched the Ethereum network and founded Ethereum Foundation, they decided to have a kind of advisory board, inviting external experts in certain fields to help them scale not the business but the whole Ethereum movement. I raised my hand and said, "Can I be part of this advisory board and take care of kind of educating the public what is this behind this technology?" And so I've been doing this for a couple of years, and also I've been doing not only educating the public about this, but also eventually helping Ethereum Foundation to bring more developers, educate more developers about the Ethereum network and Ethereum chain. So that's why actually that's one of the reasons why we set up with his father online educational platform called BlockGeeks, and later I established Ethereum Competence Center just to help developers to build solutions on top of Ethereum network. So and then there was a ICO craze, sometimes between 2016, 2017. I was approached, by this time people know I'm kind of associated with Ethereum Foundation through the advisory board, and I was approached by hundreds, maybe thousands of startups offering me to become advisor or pre-seed investor. And actually I picked up a few in the specific fields which really sparks my interest and intellectual curiosity. The ones like I really want to explore deeper and see how they work in practice. For example, that was tokenization of real assets or real estate, tokenization of real estate, of real assets. At this time, there is no stable coins. There was no USDT. Volatility was a huge issue if you do some transactions, in particular some business transactions. So I look at the stable coins backed by gold and a few other projects. So but frankly speaking, most of these projects failed. Well, for a number of reasons. Technology was not ready, mature enough. It had a lot of limitations. The teams, early adopters teams, they were not ready, also not mature. I mean, people who was behind these projects. A lot of scammers, a lot of people who've been there for quick money and didn't care much about the final product or the value. So anyway, the market was not mature, and it was still early days.
Well, Vlad, would you argue now that the market is still not mature and there's still too many scammers? And as a person who's very passionate about the use cases of cryptocurrency and blockchain, I mean, it seems like a lot of the headlines are devoted to quote unquote shit coins and meme coins, and too many people trying to make a quick buck like you said.
I would disagree if somebody would say the market is still not mature. The market make a huge progress because at this time it was wild west, crazy wild west. So let's see three components of maturity. Let's define it. First, it's a technology. Definitely technology is much more mature. The infrastructure technology, the transaction fees much lower. The speed is much higher, right? So it means like there is time to build application. At this, in early days, even if you come up with a good product idea, come up with good applications, put on a chain in a decentralized environment, you can't scale your business because basically the user who came to your app, they think it's too expensive to pay like certain gas fee, right? So it was a roadblock for mass adoption of these applications. Now it's a different story. Second is like there was no stable coins, as I mentioned. So basically, if your application or anything you create supposed to kind of exchange values and to secure certain like to have a like situation when volatility is not an issue, then it was a problem. Right now, you can see a lot of stable coins, algorithmic and just centralized like USDT stable coins. You have a lot of choices. Then the DeFi market was not developed at this time. So right now, we have a lot of components. Yes, let's talk about people. Well, probably in terms of quality of people, this market had a progress, but not as huge progress as a technology. Let's put it this way. But still, I see the difference. The difference not only I see the difference because there is more like mature entrepreneurs came to this business, sometimes from Web 2. They came either alone or together with their investors. And in terms of, by the way, the capital is also, the market is more mature because at this time was pretty much retail investors. Now we have heavy lifting institutional capital, which came to the market, which also create more resilience for the startups, right? For example, when they deal with venture capital funds, even like us fund, we apply a kind of classical metrics to define if the project good or not. So like classic venture like criteria, metrics to make an assessment. And on top, of course, there is a specifics for Web3 projects. We also understand that, but that helps to see more quality project on the market. So I think the market is much more mature now than it used to be. No doubts about that.
Can you talk a little bit about like the sort of ICO landscape versus DAOs and how you sort of see the future of fundraising in this like next cycle? Are we looking like at the DAO model again? Is this ICO? Are we going to see more, like you said, institutional capital come in? And where is that sort of tension between like the Web 2 and Web 3 version of fundraising in this current cycle?
Well, I think it will be blended way or hybrid models because for some projects, DAO is the best way to raise the fund. ICO is the best way to raise the fund, and a DAO is the best way to govern the project. But there are some projects where obviously venture money is a preferable way because look, the crypto market is not only like infrastructure or decentralized application. The crypto market, it's like in the golden rush. It's the whole infrastructure of many things, like a company which is serving this kind of market, like it's the banks which start moving into DeFi, a kind of bridge between decentralized and centralized finance. Those different type of applications will help you to make audit or security audit, or these type of services which help you to do many things. Anyway, this is not only about this. For some projects, definitely were fully decentralized applications, like in, let's say, as an example, in the prediction market, we invested in one company called Azura. They started through the decentralized platform to do sports betting, but then they eventually moved to predictive analytics. And for them, DAO is the kind of natural way to govern their business. And fundraising is more natural to do ICO. But by the way, they still had a kind of hybrid model how they raise funds. They use ICO, but they also use kind of tier 1, tier 2 VC funds from which focus on the crypto market, which focus on the Web3 applications, like us.
And how about like token allocations? Do you see the future as being sort of like issuing tokens or sort of equity, or like do you see a blend between like maybe issuing a token and giving sort of traditional equity? Like, are there changes happening to that aspect?
Well, if you talk about Web3, I think it's moving to tokens, definitely. I think there is still, I see from time to time, the hybrid model where startups offer both investments or into equity and in tokens, and sometimes both in equity and tokens. So, but I think in the future we'll see more and more tokenized investments. But it will.
In what sense, Vlad? Like real estate? What are we looking at when we talk about real world assets and tokenization?
Well, basically, real world assets will have a digital analog, digital kind of twin, like token, and that will be more accessible. It will open opportunity to a lot of people to get access to these assets. It will be more liquid. It will have less cross-border frictions. So I think I have no doubts that token will dominate in kind of value exchange transactions, not only financials, but any type of value exchange transactions. And actually, we're not far away from this, because I know that a lot of regulators considering special legislation and liberalization of tokenization of real world assets. And the biggest one in the United States, for example, with the Trump administration and his desire to lead the blockchain revolution rather than to fight against it, as he said. So and the whole working group he actually set up, the whole kind of people who around him, like Elon Musk or Robert Kennedy Jr., who are biggest advocate for crypto, and David Sachs group, which is working on many things. And I think one of the first biggest things, in addition to what is public kind of attention has been drawn, like national reserve into Bitcoin, like this and that, we'll see a lot of efforts to tokenize real world assets, stock exchanges, I know, like commodity and real estate, just name it. So, and this is going to be a big thing. So we'll see probably in 5 years time frame, maybe earlier, that tokenization will be all over.
Yeah, and how about other jurisdictions? You mentioned that in the United States you're a bit more optimistic. How about in other jurisdictions like Canada, Europe, Asia? Are you seeing developments that are sort of mirroring the US and other parts of the world?
Look, over the last 10 years, most of the countries, they tried to kind of ban crypto, and they didn't understand it well, what is behind it. They put some regulations which was quite aggressive towards to crypto. But there are only a few small countries which try to be liberal to crypto, and but they've been a little bit like careful what US regulator tell us, or if they notice us, if they allow us to do this. So now with certain political statements from United States that crypto will be liberalized in the United States, I think most of other countries will do more and will not be afraid as they used to be to go ahead and liberalize crypto. The only a few exceptions might be like countries like China, for example, right, where different political system and they might be a kind of behind the whole trend. But other than that, like Middle East, Europe, North America, South America, I have no doubts there will be a lot of developments in these regions, because South America already was pretty much into crypto, much more kind of ahead of everybody. Middle East also, like Emirates, kind of ahead of everybody. Small countries like Montenegro, Georgia, and a few others like Thailand, and they're ahead of everybody in terms of liberal legislation towards the crypto. So, and I think everybody else would join except a few countries which keep kind of autocratic political system.
Yeah, and given all these changes that are happening, where do you see developments in the DeFi landscape, whether it's point of sale, retail? I just saw something on X today that you can now watch 7 minutes worth of ads in order to avoid paying Ethereum gas fees. Where do you see the future of blockchain development from a development and engineering standpoint, but also a user standpoint and a UX standpoint? Where are you looking for changes and developments as someone who's an investor and looking for opportunities in the space?
I think there is one single thing which can make a huge difference. It's a kind of game changer. Look, today, one of the biggest challenge or gap between decentralized finance and regulation is like KYC. How to build a bridge between like traditional financial institution which kind of make KYC much harder than it used to be and require a lot of things to confirm, and basically DeFi, where people would like to stay private and do not share information about themselves. So how to kind of confirm that there is a legitimate player with kind of clean money dealing during this certain transaction, right? And at the same time, do not expose or do not share any data about this player. So basically, this is where developers and kind of can together with kind of regulators find the solution. For example, for development point of view, the zero knowledge proof might be a technology which can at one time kind of confirm that this is a trusted player. At the same time, do not share data, like extensive data about this player. So confirm to financial institutions. By doing this, probably I should start. The biggest challenge is conversion from fiat to crypto in DeFi and back from crypto to fiat from DeFi, right? And so think about like traditional financial institutions like banks have this bridge where DeFi protocol confirm this is a trusted player. So you don't need to go through the whole KYC. The only thing, like why I say it should be a direction from both, because financial banks, they need to reduce the requirements in terms of KYC. They need to like traditional banks, they need to return back like it used to be 20 years ago. If the bankers test this is a trusted player, it is a trusted player. I don't need to every time I deal with bank to confirm and prove I'm trusted player, right? So, and this is a kind of movements from technology point of view. We truly have a technology which confirm it a trusted player. But these guys, traditional institutions, they reduce the requirements. They return back to different practice, which used to be like 20 years ago or 15 years ago.
Well, so you're essentially talking about a zero knowledge KYC protocol,
yeah.
which to my knowledge does not yet exist. Is this are you aware of sort of developments in this?
But you asked me about where the trend, where the developers should put some efforts to find the solution. Where is the opportunity? This is opportunity. The developers who will find the solution to basically, that will be one of the biggest successful project in the crypto industry in the near future.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The technology is not enough. It's important that the legislation will and the regulator allow banks to have a different practice. So if they continue asking you about source of funding, they continue asking you about number of things, which is crazy at these days, then of course even the zero knowledge proof will not help.
Do you think this is something that will be developed at the level of the wallet or the blockchain or like a bank? Like where do you see this sort of development being built?
Not the bank. I think wallet or blockchain, wallet, it's very difficult to say, frankly speaking. I think probably at the wallet level, that would be my hypothesis. But it's a very complicated area to say something specific about that. My gut feel says it should be in the wallet level, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What kind of entrepreneurs impress you, Vlad? As an investor, what are you looking for? What are some of the corners and aspects of the crypto sector are enticing to you? And what is deserving of your capital? For the entrepreneurs out there listening to this podcast and tuning into crypto.news, the show, what should they know from a guy like you?
Well, I think it's not a big difference than in any high tech startups. When investors look for certain project, they look for, first of all, for people and the product idea. So by the way, in crypto, people even more important than product idea, because this should be much higher level of trust from venture investor to the project team, to the founders. So people, how passionate they are about what they do, how flexible they are in terms of like changing. So based on the market feedback, based on the community feedback. So how if they share, what is their intentions? If it's just about quick money, or they're really excited about the whole idea of decentralized future. So they understand this kind of permissionless, censorship-free internet is much better place to be. So and of course we look at the skills profile and respect, because let me talk a little about the problems and I experienced, or the projects I saw, which quite typical for crypto, and particularly during ICO time, but still a lot of projects like this these days. Usually it's very genius, sometimes just very good developers who believes that technology is everything they need to be successful. So, and they came with sometimes good ideas, sometimes strange ideas, but anyway, they come to us and say, okay, we need money. This is our product. We need your money. We don't need to hear from you for the next 3 years. So I ask, okay, do you have a business model? No, we have tokenomics. When we look at tokenomics, we see, okay, tokenomics is basically allocation table, how many tokens goes to different hands, right? Okay, I'm saying, do you have financial plan? Do you have like basic stuff? No. I say, how are you going to run the business? How are you going to run the business? Oh, we don't need it. We're encrypted. I say, well, the fact you're encrypted doesn't mean you don't need to have a business model. Then another question could be like product. Okay, you have product idea. Have you validated? Somebody need it? No. Okay. Well, probably before we spend a lot of money, we need to kind of validate that people like it, people will use it, even for free. And then we need to validate if people are ready to pay for that. So, we don't need it because we have amazing community, 100,000 people on Telegram or somewhere in Discord, etc. And they're going to love our product when we launch it. When are you going to launch it? Oh, we don't know, but we keep running our community with a lot of promises. Anyway, we don't like that. We want people who respect any technology disruptive. It's very good. And I've been there for 25 years, and I've been through at least 3 disruptive technology, and I invested and come up with my projects at early days with this technology. It's all good. It changed business models, but you cannot say it's completely disconnected what it used to be before. So you need to inherit some good things and some fundamentals. By the way, some fundamentals never change. You need to make profit one another way. Even if you make profit and share everything with your community, you still need to make a profit to reward them. So And people, for some reason, forget about that. They say, we have technology for the sake of technology. Great. Anyway, that's so I expect people respect some basic things. People passionate about the idea of decentralized future, about their own product, at the same flexible enough and ready to adjust if necessary, if market provide you feedback. So that would be in a short, in a nutshell.
It's a good nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of tokenomics, are you seeing changes to the sort of way that issuance is being developed, whether it's through vesting periods and unlocking, and if so, what are some of those changes that you would like to see as an investor when it comes to, having a clear tokenomic structure that makes sense for not only investors but also retail and other participants in the market?
Good question. I definitely see change because in the past, in early days ICO, they issued tokens to investors. There was not really lockups, or lockups was for short period of time. Right now, the market different. Lockups for 1-2 years quite often. So vesting period much longer than it used to be. But
will we see changes to the system where perhaps lockups are conditional to token performance? So, for example, CZ had a tweet the other day, and he gave a speculative idea for a token issuance where he suggested that perhaps 10% of tokens can be unlocked and sold on the market, but only based on the condition of the token hitting a certain price. So you're not going. Are you seeing sort of like these sort of dynamics, and it's like,
look, I don't see dynamics, but there is some minor but not fundamentals. I would like to see the change in tokenomics because basically I think as of now the system is kind of broken for investors and for the market in general because look what happens usually founders kind of get money from investors, issue tokens to them, make go and make listing, and then sell their own tokens or whatever portion of them they're able to sell, and I mean right after listing or within short period of time on listing, when investors wait for a year or two. In a year or two, the price for the token go down, and basically both retail investors or even kind of venture investors, they don't make this money. So I think there definitely needs to be certain changes which reflect certain value of the business, which reflect certain, resilience of the business, and the connection of tokens and lockups should be. By the way, comes down to financial model comment I made earlier. When we talk with our potential investors and the companies in our portfolio, we ask them to build a financial table and forecast where we connect certain tokens allocation to the business metrics, like you have revenue, you have profit, or whatever it is, your treasury wallet growing, etc. And then there is a correlation between amount of tokens on the market with kind of let's call it profit made, and particularly if you have a buyout kind of system or burn system, like you kind of build a correlation between profit and the tokens on the market, then it's more healthy for investors and for the market that you don't issue a lot of tokens unless you have a good profit. So anyway, I think there is a lot of changes needs to be implemented or introduced, so the whole tokenomics will be more healthy place for investors. But now every second project, like founders made money, investors stay at least for a long period of time with these tokens, because in a year or two the price usually much lower than the first 2 months after listing.
You also have Vitalik's ear. You are a Vitalik whisperer. Can you tell us what insights you have learned from your recent conversations with Vitalik?
Well, actually, our talks lately primarily about decentralized governance, direct democracy, and this is a big passion I have. So we talk about network states a lot. We talk about, when practically this might be possible, when people will have more power to make an impact on rules of the society they live in, reducing the role of centralized governments, and these type of things. Because one thing is a theory network state, but another thing when and how practically it can be implemented. So this is my primary themes for discussions with Vitalik. However, of course, I participate certain events, sometimes closed events, and I hear about, for example, this story we just talked about, zero knowledge proof as a solution for KYC. That's one of the topics we discussed in Zuzalu event last summer in Georgia. For example, another topic is abstract accounts, when the wallets, crypto wallets, should be so intuitive, close to online banking applications. So if you still lose your, let's say, seed phrase or password, you can still get access to your money. So these type of things we also discussed. By the way, it's also a big opportunity for different startups, and also big thing which can increase mass adoption of crypto. So as soon as we have these solutions intuitive and good enough.
Can you explain what the concept of network state is?
Okay, that's
I understand it as being a sort of.
I'm trying to recall the line definition from Balaji.
A new political philosophy that is looking at the blockchain as a sort of decentralized global network, but politically and economically, and how do you define network state?
Well, I define that in a decentralized environment, people have rights to vote for certain decisions. They can form their community, countries, cities, whatever you call it, and both in the digital space, in the physical space. And they having this, like, let's say, token, which give you rights to vote for certain decisions. They make decisions like collectively, and they also act collectively, executing these decisions or reaching certain goals. Regardless they are where they're located on Earth, and regardless what political countries they carry passport from, regardless whatever it is, like if they become a part of community, let's call it network state or digital city or whatever it is, and they've got certain rights to make a decision and certain rights to act collectively, then they become a part of network state. And by the way, they can be a part of different countries, network states. Could be one country which trying to achieve and save, I don't know, whales. Another country which community get together to achieve another goal, right? And within this country, there is also currency. There is also certain governance rules. There is certain things. And that's the way it is. But you also mentioned how it's gonna work together with a kind of current classical traditional countries. Well, I think we discussed quite a lot. With a growing number of digital nomads, which is by itself representative of very high intellectual part of society. And they travel all across the globe, and usually it's relatively wealthy people, and some countries, they are competing to get these people in their country, even for a short period of time, so they stay 1-2 months, and because they create a lot of values by staying in the country, opening businesses in these countries, and spending money in these countries. So I think one part is like if network state issued digital passport, which confirms your identity, confirms that you are a trusted person, confirms your that many other features and characteristics. And this passport, digital passport issued by network state, is good enough to accept, for example, this person into country without any visa, for example, right? Without any passport, because basically the confirmation by, let's say, 100,000 people community, which understand your track records of behavior within this community, is probably much more important than a piece of paper issued by the centralized government who probably knows nothing about you. So I think, and if that happens, then a lot of countries would be happy to embrace these people and providing different type of services. There is different grants and programs for in Portugal and Emirates where they try to attract talented people to their countries. And this a point of integration between network states and the physical countries. So that's one part.
And can you explain a little bit about what Zuzalu is and how this relates to the network state and the actualization of the network state?
Zuzalu, it's a pop-up city, so-called. This is, let's say, decentralized community, which come together. Well, first of all, which do a lot of things digitally, but also come together from time to time in one place and spend together, like, I don't know, 1-2 months, depending on event, spend together to discuss high intellectual questions about decentralized future, longevity, and also talk about how certain great ideas or technology or both can be implemented in real time, and how they can be implemented, introduced, experimented, so they can make an impact, show the way and show examples what is possible, even within current set of things, what we have today on Earth, within current financial political system and all challenges we have. So I think this is how I would define. And of course, there is a lot of networking, but I think the most value is people discuss these matters on a very detailed level and plan how to implement it. That's would be, and then they collectively do a lot of experiments. They collectively, between these Zuzalu events where we come together physically, between this we do a lot of things remotely.
Yeah, it seems like there's such a sort of techno-utopian ethos to Zuzalu and even the network state. But I'm curious, what are some of the risks that you see with creating a decentralized network state? I mean, we've had so many stories of different forms of hacking, and you mentioned longevity and even biohacking. I mean, it seems to me that there can be a lot of issues with that too.
And it seems like the hacking is getting worse and worse. I mean, we just had the largest on record. I mean, for a guy who's very focused on legitimacy in this space, it seems like a very overrun sector with illegitimate people.
Yes, the hacking and the whole security is an issue in general for the industry. And what can I say? Just I think, I mean, people are working to reduce the risk of hacking and improve security, and this is like a big area, an important area.
Are there leaders in the Zuzalu utopia? Are there sort of, is there a UBI component to it? Is this like an anarchist space? Is this a communist space? Is this a libertarian space? I mean, in terms of the political ideology of Zuzalu, is it something that you're trying to create a utopia, or are you trying to create, what kind of utopia? Is it a libertarian utopia? Is it a communist utopia? Is it a blend of them?
The impression is that it leans toward a very alt-right political agenda. I mean, the two.
But it seems like there's a UBI component to it. It seems like, you know.
We never put the label on this. I can tell you my subjective perspective. I think that libertarian is more accurate word to define, again, from my perspective. Maybe some other members of Zuzalu will say, no. I don't think anybody would say it's communism utopia. Maybe somebody will say, no, it's anarchy, but I don't think it's anarchy. I think it's a more libertarian, but I wouldn't say it's utopia, because basically utopia, it's just theoretical ideas which probably never happen, so very low probability it happens. I think people, it's not utopia, because we discuss what is already exists. We discuss decentralized finance. We discuss DAO. DAO, it's working, and it's in several projects. That's the only way to run the project is like through DAO. So I think yeah, there is certain things very innovative, and sometimes could be could sound and look radical. But look, the whole Ethereum at certain days and the whole Bitcoin would sound radical, like a few years before it was launched. So and probably at early days, even Ethereum, a lot of people, very few people who believes in DeFi, in decentralized finance, it will exist and it will grow, right? So I think I wouldn't call it utopia, but it's definitely libertarian kind of flavor all over in topics we discuss in Zuzalu, at Zuzalu.
Fascinating. And you
Dorian,
mentioned earlier,
we should probably wrap up because we have a whole other hour planned for Vlad and Vitalik, in a sister episode that we plan on doing. I know we've been talking for about 45 minutes now. For the sake of brevity, why don't we
brevity.
final thoughts and then give a little preview for our part two?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I did have one final question though, with respect to everything you said, just to sort of wrap up. And I wanted to tie this back into the role of prediction markets and AI, and where you see the future of blockchain with respect to this intersection between, let's say, blockchain technology, AI, and prediction markets. Are we seeing a convergence of all of these things that will supercharge the industry? And if so, what's your sort of take on that?
Absolutely. We'll see the convergence of these three segments, but specifically, I would mention the importance of convergence of AI and blockchain, because this is two disruptive technology and they can help each other. I mean, big time. First of all, AI, if it's centralized, it can turn in something like centralized social media, where they quite often used by politicians. They can cancel you, they can deplatform you, and a lot of censorship, by the way, going on in the social media. This is a kind of tool which politicians use to manipulate people perception and people minds. So, and AI is much more powerful to do so. So if we keep centralized AI, that might be a bad thing. So decentralized AI could be a completely different story, because it will be more transparent, under control of community, and many other things can be good. At the same time, blockchain, you mentioned hacking, you mentioned security as the biggest challenge. If we have AI, which particular for retail investors or just simple users who are not tech savvy users, AI can help big time to make audit of smart contracts and make it objectively. So to without human error or human intentions to miss a certain backdoor. And AI can help to onboard any non-tech savvy person in a safe manner into wallet, into DeFi exchange, into many other DeFi or decentralized online tools and applications. So I think, I mean, emergence or convergence AI and blockchain will be huge thing, and will create a lot of good for people and for both technology and industry.
There you have it. Vlad Martynov, thank you very much for your time. And we're looking forward to part two with your exclusive conversation with VB, Vitalik Buterin.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for your time.
Bye-bye.
Maybe see you in the network state.
Absolutely.
Zuzalu.
Well, I'm quite often at the network state events. So
when is the next Zuzalu event, and where?
Oh, now
physically?
It's very difficult to say, because they are all over, because we have a kind of main event, and then we have a lot of satellite events all across the globe. So
Great.
we need to
looking forward to getting rid of my Canadian and Polish passport and just nomading around in the network state.
Well, yeah. Just
I hope I can get my UBI in Ethereum.
I'm trying
at
to make a
least.
joke about maybe you have to change it to your US passport, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate joke. But yeah, you don't need to give away a Canadian passport. You can easily travel with Canadian passport anyway.
Can I give away my Trudeau pesos at least for some Ethereum? I'm tired of these Trudeau pesos.
By
Just
the way, I'm
collapsing every day.
passport, so we are kind of brothers.
Okay, brothers in arms. Well, see you at the Zulu and Zuzalu, and thanks very much again for your time. And
Be well, Vlad. Thanks.
bye, guys.